What if I told you the best way to get someone to do something is to tell them not to? Sounds counterintuitive, right? But think about it. Ever noticed how people tend to want what they can't have? A child told, "Don't press that button," will almost certainly press it. Someone who plays hard to get suddenly becomes irresistible. It's called reverse psychology, and it's one of the most powerful tools in relationships, whether we realize we're using it or not. But why does it work so well? And could it be more dangerous than we think? Let's break it down. At its core, reverse psychology is when you encourage someone to do the opposite of what you actually want. You tell a friend, "Don't worry about coming to the party, it's not a big deal," and suddenly they feel they have to be there. Your partner starts pulling away, and somehow you're drawn to them even more. Reverse psychology works because humans hate feeling controlled. It triggers something called reactance theory, a psychological response that kicks in when we feel like someone is limiting our freedom. Instead of complying, we push back, even if we weren't that interested to begin with. Take dating, for example. Have you ever heard the phrase "play hard to get"? It's a classic case of reverse psychology. Imagine person A comes on too strong at first, texting constantly, showing too much interest. Person B gets overwhelmed and starts pulling back. Now, person A suddenly stops texting as much, acting aloof. And what happens? Person B starts wondering, wait, why aren't they chasing me anymore? It's like a switch flips. By pulling away, person A unintentionally makes themselves more attractive. This isn't just a dating phenomenon. It happens in friendships and families too. Think of the parent who says, "You're absolutely not allowed to see that person." What does the rebellious teenager do? They go straight to the person they're forbidden from seeing. Or a friend who casually says, "You probably wouldn't be interested in this new show I found." Suddenly, you can't wait to check it out. This principle even applies to advertising. Brands use reverse psychology all the time. You've probably seen slogans like, "You're probably not cool enough for this." What happens? People suddenly want to prove that they are cool enough. Scarcity, rebellion, and the desire to control our own decisions, it's all part of what makes reverse psychology so effective. But here's where it gets complicated. Reverse psychology might sound harmless, but it can also become manipulative. In relationships, someone might use it as a control tactic, subtly pressuring their partner without being direct. Imagine a partner saying, "It's fine, don't bother helping me. I'll just do everything myself." It seems innocent, but it's really a passive-aggressive way of making the other person feel guilty. In toxic relationships, this can escalate. Manipulation disguised as reverse psychology can cause confusion, stress, and even resentment. And there's another problem. It doesn't always work. Sometimes when someone pulls away to play hard to get, the other person doesn't chase them. They just walk away. Reverse psychology is a gamble, and when it backfires, the results can be devastating. So, why do our brains fall for reverse psychology? It comes down to two key principles: reactance and scarcity. Reactance is that instinctive resistance we feel when someone tells us what to do. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. "Oh, you think I won't do it? Watch me." Then there's scarcity. Humans want what they can't have. If something feels rare or off limits, we value it more. A famous psychological study called the Forbidden Toy Experiment demonstrated this perfectly. Researchers told kids not to play with a certain toy. And what happened? The kids became obsessed with it. Even though it was just a regular toy, being forbidden made it feel more special. These same principles play out in relationships. If a partner suddenly seems less available or off limits, they become more appealing. Not because they've changed, but because we're wired to value what's slipping away. So, can reverse psychology actually be used in a healthy way? Absolutely. but it's all about intention. In relationships, the goal shouldn't be manipulation, but communication. For example, instead of nagging your partner to help with chores, you might say, "It's okay. You don't need to help with the dishes. It's just quicker with two people." It frames the request in a way that gives them the choice, reducing resistance. With friends, reverse psychology works best when it feels casual and low pressure. If you want someone to show up to an event, try saying, "No worries if you can't make it. It's just going to be a chill night." By removing pressure, you increase the likelihood they'll want to come. And with kids, parents have been using reverse psychology for years. A classic example is saying, "I bet you can't clean your room in 10 minutes." It turns a chore into a challenge, and suddenly, the kid's motivated. At the end of the day, reverse psychology is a powerful tool, but it's also one that should be handled carefully. It works because it taps into our instincts to rebel and prove our independence, but when used with the wrong intentions, it can damage trust. So the next time someone tells you you can't do that, stop and ask yourself, are they trying to manipulate you? Or do they really think you can't? Because let's be honest, sometimes proving them wrong feels pretty good.